it is why we chose to live in a free state where people, when they ask you, how you doing? They mean it. They want to know how you're doing. They want to hear about your day. And that's in both downtown. I get it. It's not as much fun downtown Nashville. Lots of tourists and whatnot from all over the place. But when you get out a little bit in suburbia or in rural areas of Tennessee, the salt of the earth, kindest, nicest people can be found there. And so, I have a perspective on this that I don't know that everybody has. Keeping in that theme, I wanted to bring in Lisa Hayes. Lisa Hayes is also from Williamson County. I mentioned Williamson County is massive, right? So it's got kind of the epicenter. You've got downtown Franklin. You've got Cool Springs area, plenty of malls, car dealerships, restaurants, things like that. But then it's also very rural. And Lisa Hayes, a Williamson County commissioner, she's District 1, until recently was a small business owner in Williamson, kind of out there though, right? Not in the thick of it. And prior to owning a business, she was in corporate America. So she's got kind of both sides to this from an economic perspective. She works really, really hard in her district, and I appreciate the work that she does on fiscal responsibility, responsible growth, that sort of thing, and transparency. And transparency is kind of the theme of the day because this culture of keeping things secret and doing things shady is infiltrating a lot of our cities and our rural America. So I wanted to bring on Lisa Hayes. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I know you've got a lot to say about TN7, but because I just finished up with election integrity, we can start there. Thanks for being on the show today.
You're welcome. Hi, EJ, and welcome to Tennessee.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think election integrity, I know this is important to Matt Van Epps and President Trump, but that is one of the reasons I ran. I left Georgia to come to the lovely state of Tennessee back in late 2019, and we had just had a lot of interesting things happen with our elections in Georgia. So I met a lot of new friends in COVID year here in Tennessee and started digging in and really realizing we had Dominion machines, things like, all the things that make you go, oh my gosh. So I got very involved, and eventually it motivated me to run for county commission. But election integrity is going to be, again, an important issue coming up in next year's elections because we have a lot of state, governor, and local elections. But, we really need to look at going back to paper ballots. That's one of the things that I was a huge supporter of here in Williamson. Let's go back to paper ballots. Let's not do the longer early voting. I think that
like a voting month. I feel like especially here in Williamson County, we have been voting. I mean, there's just been, vote primary, then BOMA, and that's Board of Aldermen, and yes. So we've had that, and then now we've got this. Yep, it is overwhelming, and as our last guest said, I think people are kind of tired. I think we're tired of hearing about it. You're obviously on the ground in Williamson. Did you happen to go to the event this morning in Franklin?
I did.
How was it?
It was
well
exciting
attended?
to see. Yeah, very well attended. I was excited to see, a broad array of support for him, upward and downward, and elected, not just elected officials, but also, everyday citizens who are there, who are wanting to keep integrity and responsibility. And, one of the issues in election integrity, again, is, are illegals voting? And we have ICE, who's very active here trying to make sure, that people aren't voting that shouldn't be, voter rolls. There's so many things. But this morning it's always invigorating to go to events like that and see people and shake hands and just,
sure.
When we're also busy in daily life, it's good to see people that you also see, like, that are working for Tennesseans.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a thankless job. I mean, we as a county commissioners, a lot of people don't know what we do. We actually oversee the budget and fiscal responsibility for the county, as well as development projects, capital projects. And so we're trying to do a better job of sharing who we are, what we do. We don't get paid a whole lot for it, but I serve for the people. That was my whole goal. And, like I said, election.
As it relates to Van Epps and this election going forward, I think people don't realize how important the county is in what happens at the U.S. House side of things. In other words,
Yes.
because you are dealing with the budgets
Yes.
and you are talking about growth, it is the responsibility of our county commissioners to work with our senators and our Congress people to
Correct.
to keep things in check for the state and for your county. Are you finding that Matt Van Epps will be someone who will listen to you and listen to the people? Do you think he's the kind of guy who will take the phone call and kind of get things done up in D.C. to help out your county here in Williamson?
Yeah, I really do. I think he's a good man. He's served the country. That's huge. That's very important, that he stepped up and served his country at a military level, and now he works for the state. And it's exciting to see that he wants to serve at a greater level, because it is a sacrifice. I mean, he's making a bigger sacrifice by going to D.C. So it's exciting to see that. I look forward to working with him. I actually knew Mark Green. He swore me in as a county commissioner many years ago. And he's done a lot for the state of Tennessee, but I'm excited to see Matt. And I feel really good about tomorrow. I think
Good.
we have, we're getting the vote out, getting the word out. That's so important. Voter apathy is reality.
Sure.
But I think we've worked hard to remind people, if
Yeah.
you want Matt to serve, you have to get out and vote.
Sure.
So,
Sure. And
yeah.
we've got some polling out there that, controversial as it is, basically saying, it's closer than it should be, right? I
Yeah,
think we
yeah.
had the Cook Political Report said that they moved it from solid Republican to lean Republican, basically saying a 75% drop in primary turnout. So I
Right.
think your apathy comment is correct. I mean, we're hearing that now from people on the ground who talk to regular folks every single day, not just the rally goers, but like regular people at the grocery store, in your neighborhood, dropping off the kids
Yes.
at school, the kids' activities, things like that. I did want your take on this, though, too. So obviously the
Sure.
polling is saying it's pretty close. Betting markets, though, if you pay attention to that, Polymarket is saying that there is an 89% implied probability of him winning. Not that he'll get 89% of the vote, but 89% probability of Matt Van Epps being our representative here. Do you trust the polls? Do you trust the Polymarket? Like, where do you go to for your info?
I talk to people locally. Polls have not really proven to be a good resource
Yep.
in years past. And I think Trump was a telltale sign of that. But I actually talk to people on the ground. I know people, and when I was a small business owner, and I just recently sold my business a couple months ago, I had day-to-day interaction with the people who, not just in my town, but also counties around. I was a destination restaurant, which was
Hmm.
great. So I talk to people all the time, and that's what I've done. I've gone out, and I never meet as strangers, people who know me. So I'm always talking to people like, hey, have you voted? Oh my gosh, what are we voting for? And, but I'm posting signs. I bought signs to put on major intersections, reminding people there is something to vote for.
Nice,
But
nice.
just getting
So
the
what are
word
you
out and
hearing when you do
texting.
talk to people? What are they saying back to you? Do they know that there's an election? Are they excited about Matt Van
They're
Epps or?
they are very excited, and they said, "Well, didn't we just vote for that in October?" I'm like, "That was the primary," and I think that's a lot of the confusion. People don't
Yeah.
always understand there's a primary versus the general, and that both are very important, and you need to vote in both. A lot of people here are informed, but I just never miss an opportunity, and I also just talk to people at the grocery store. I'm always engaging people because as an elected official,
Hmm.
I want to keep people engaged. I've also sent out social media posts to say, hey, if you want to get notifications on elections that are coming up, you can actually sign up in Williamson County by going to X website. And I wish I had it memorized, but you can actually get election
Yeah,
notifications. And it's just so, you can't communicate enough because we have a lot of new people such as yourself,
that's right.
and they just might not know. And so I'm always, I'm posting, at even the store I sold, I'm still going and posting posters to say, hey, did you know you have an election? Please vote and be engaged.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's so
so
important. I tend to focus more on where people put their money. I feel like the poly market is a better gauge of probability. It's not going to get you, the polling breakdowns and where people stand on issues and junk like that quite as well. But
Yeah.
it does kind of give you, I mean, if you're a betting person, you're not going to the polls. You're going to Polymarket. You know, you're going to the place where
Right.
people put their money. And so I'm confident, but I'm cautious. And I think that's the sentiment among most people who are involved in this race and who are paying attention and who did the primary thing. And maybe they fought for another candidate. That is something that's coming up too. They fought for another candidate and now they're wiped out and they don't have a lot of enthusiasm for Matt Van Epps. What do you tell those people that, you know, they're just not excited to go out tomorrow and vote for him? And so, you know, maybe the weather will be kind of chilly. Maybe they'll feel like it. Maybe they don't. What's your message to them?
You have to really get behind. Certainly, I have voted for people that I wasn't initially a supporter of. But sometimes you have to get behind the party and what the party stands for and the values. And he does share the values of the Republican Party and conservatives as well as President Trump. And so we have to get behind him to support him and then also stay in touch.
Right.
You know, don't be quiet. Vocalize, email him, call his office and say, hey, I want to let you know I don't agree with this, or I like this and I want you to do more of that. So it's not just a one-day voting. You actually have to stay involved and voice your opinions. I tell people all the time in my district, I said, I want to hear from you. Oh, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, no, bother me. That's what I'm here for.
That's right.
I work for you. He will work for us. And I think he'll be great. I mean, there's no secret. He's new. He's never been an elected official, but I think he'll do well. And he has a little bit of time before the next election to kind of get up to speed and get his feet wet.
Right.
So I think he'll do a great job. And by the way, I did find this information. If you want to get Williamson County election information, you text 91896 and in the subject you say WCG elections.
WCG elections. Got it. And
Elections,
I'll bet
yeah.
you they have that in other counties also. If anybody's looking
Yes.
for their play, I mean,
Yeah.
literally go on ChatGPT and say, what's the website I need to go to find out where
Yes.
to vote in Tennessee?
Or call your local elections office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we have to get behind him. I mean, he's great.
I've got 1 minute, Lisa.
Sure.
I want to say thank you so much for having you on and
thank you.
appreciate the different perspective because you've got, you know, the economic side of things. You've got the boots on the ground talking to regular people. And we don't really get that when we are listening to Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, even Kid Rock came out, you know, you've got the big names saying, go out and vote. But the people on the ground, I would just encourage everybody in your district, Lisa, and everywhere else, particularly in rural parts of Tennessee 7, please just take a friend, you know, get your adult kids to go out there and vote. Take someone with you and get to the polls. Thanks again, Lisa, for being on. Appreciate you.